Hello everybody, hope you are enjoying your study of Romans as you wrap that up and ready to get into 1st and 2nd Corinthians. I'm especially excited for this as I'm writing my dissertation on an issue in 1st Corinthians. So hope you'll see just how practical these books are, but also how theological they are, and how for the apostle, and should be hopefully for us, theology and practice are not separate concerns. And in fact, when Paul deals with the most pressing and troubling of issues, he sometimes exhibits his best theology. 1 Corinthians is an example of a book where he begins addressing their problems by focusing on the cross, and he comes to a conclusion in chapter 15 by addressing the resurrection. And I think that's a very deliberate design, looking to the past of what Christ has done and the future of what Christ's work will accomplish. He really fits their problems in this big theological framework that goes from the past to the future. It's really a beautiful arrangement. This week we will be applying our course objectives to 1st and 2nd Corinthians, and in particular I want to look here at your outline project. Your outline project is a good example of what we're expecting in a lot of assignments throughout this course. The design is deliberate. We're trying to get you to think big picture, what is this book about, and to be able to fit the parts in with that big picture, to be able to trace an argument through from beginning to completion. What is it that makes it all hang together? So this outline is an example of that. We are not just looking for you to be able to outline part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, but to see how it all fits together. So I'm opening up here the example that we give you from 1 Timothy. This is called a synthetic outline, and just go through this with you real quick. Your outline doesn't have to be exactly like this if you are struggling with the formatting or something like that. Don't worry too much about it, but this is basically what we are looking for. So you'll notice at first you have the book in the corner. For your outline this week, you're only doing a portion of either 1 Corinthians or Romans, so you have that option. But you'll notice up here, before we ever get to the outline, we have elements that are trying to deal with this book in general. The occasion and purpose here. What gave rise to the letter? That's the occasion. The purpose. What's Paul hoping to accomplish with the letter? Does he tell us explicitly, or can we infer that? That's what we're looking for up here. Also with the key verses, these are not just verses that you happen to like about the letter, or if we were considering John, you might immediately think John 3:16. Well, is John 3:16 one of the key verses to the big picture of the Gospel of John? Maybe, maybe not. So it's not necessarily if the verse is well known, but how does that verse highlight the main idea of the letter? Some verses, Paul will come to something of a crescendo, where he just gives a very short statement that really summarizes the overall purpose of the book really well. Themes, you could try to discover a main theme. I would be very satisfied if you tried to do that, but at the minimum, at least come up with some themes that the book is focused on. And another way you could do these key verses here with the themes is to, after you list the theme, list the key verses for that theme. This will help you to think about the letter in a big picture sort of way, and to wrap your mind around it in a little bit better way. That's what I recommend, but you can of course keep the themes and key verses separate as this example has them. And then date, this would just be from your reading. Give an appropriate estimation of the date. For some books, this will be more straightforward than others. For Romans and 1 Corinthians, it should be fairly straightforward. For the outline itself, we are looking for at least three subheads. So Roman numeral 1, 2, etc. That's your first Roman numeral. Notice that you do not have to have subheads under each Roman numeral. So for your introduction for 1 Timothy, you don't have anything here. For the second, you notice we have an A, and this is important. For every A, there must be a B. Okay? There must be a B. By nature, subdivisions in an outline are dividing a larger whole into two or more sections. So if you have a Roman numeral 1, and then an A, and then something under A, then what you're probably doing is you're probably titling Roman numeral 1 and then explaining something about it in Roman numeral A, and then explaining something about that, and it just sort of turns into this rabbit trail that goes off in one direction, and then you start over again with another one. What this forces you to do is your Roman numeral 1 will be a large unit of thought that ties together. In this case, only 2 verses for Roman numeral 1, but Roman numeral 2, 1, 3 to 20. So we've got a substantial portion of verses there, and then this large unit of thought can be broken into A, B, and C. And in this case, A can also be broken into multiple units, in this case a couple. B can be broken into multiple units. Typo there, should be 2, 1, and 2, and etc. So be sure to keep that in mind as you craft your outline. You are not expected to have a perfect understanding of these books, but hopefully the outline process will help you to think about these books holistically and how the parts fit with that whole. So hope you enjoy this week, and as always, let me know if you have any questions.